Hello guys, welcome back to Clockwork Dandy Noodles. My voice is returning. I am so happy. Thank you guys so much for all your support, all of your messages. I am slowly coming around the bend. I've kind of just got after effects now because I've got asthma. The laryngitis, just as it's fizzling out, is occasionally triggering the odd asthma attack or two. We're getting there, guys, very slowly. Hello, welcome, guys. I am Clockwork Dandy Noodles. Each week I break down select anime that I have chosen, things I think are interesting. We talk about little plot points, just sometimes just cover all the main points, talk about composition, we talk about things that I generally like, the way scores pick up, music, everything, the works. There is a lot of good stuff going out this season, and I am right in the heart of it. I've got some fantastic choices. I am also bringing you guys a gift, so make sure if you want the gift, make sure you're subscribed or you're going to miss out on my gift to you guys for, I guess, as thanks, but also as thanks to the anime world for the good work that they are doing. I am bringing out a video in 2-ish weeks, around the halfway point, so I want most animes to have hit either episode 5 or 6 when I do it. I am bringing you a halfway review. This is going to be different from my end. It is going to be full of essentially top 3 OP EDs because there's one which I cannot stop playing, and I wonder if you guys can guess. There's a particular ED that is really on my playlist right now and I just can't get enough of it. I have 2 EDs this season that are really just killing it, and I'm going to give you my halfway point on the 5 animes I've chosen and animes that I'm watching personally that I think you too should be watching, because I think there's an anime which is going to rattle its way to my top 3 at the end of the season, and I'm not even breaking it down. So lots of fun stuff, guys. So if you like what I do, make sure you give that little subscribe button a tick and give this video a like as well, because there's a bit of a like war going on in the videos. It's between Moriarty the Patriot and, at the moment, To Eternity. The two fan bases on those videos are kind of trying to outrank each other. Could we bring Vivy up into that mix too? So if you like it, make sure you give this video a like. And there is a Discord channel for you guys to lurk, keep track of all of the stuff that's going on, and a good place for you to occasionally fire questions or just share stuff. So it's a great place to be. Let's get on with it. Let's go to Vivy episode 5. I can't believe we're on episode 5 already. I still can't get over the beautiful shots we sometimes get of eyes, even though we've had so much of it, and it is technically Vivy's Eyes song, and I do wonder if the eyes are an important factor because they keep coming up and there's a lot of love in those eyes. Watch everybody now go away and start drawing eyes again. I feel like I'm back in like A-level art of us all just drawing eye pictures. But the inevitable has happened this time, and we're going to go into something I figured probably isn't too distant a reality to what might happen. It's the idea of humans and AIs marrying, loving each other. I mean, there was that guy who married Hatsune Miku, right? Somebody's married to her, I'm pretty sure. So it's that kind of idea. It's a very cold open. We don't know who the characters are. I love the location, the use of the light. We're in a beautiful ruined church. The idea that nature has reclaimed this church, the place of almost holiness, this place where a marriage would happen, but now it's run down into the ground. But these two are still burying a love for one another. We have the sun beaming through the roof. It's beautiful. There's stained glass. Again, which studio can draw? If you're going to take away anything from this anime, which studio can draw, guys? And the gold is often a colour of success, it's hope. And it's also used around as well, the idea of marriage, the idea of the rings being gold. Cut to our timeline again. I actually adore having a timeline where we can actually see how we're diverging, because we can see in the blue, which is what happened. We're now the ones in the red. We've now seen the sunrise crash into the ocean. Estelle died, and we're now splitting off completely further ahead. A few main variations, obviously, we're bringing things forward a little bit. But the idea that that beautiful church that we saw, that marriage, I don't know if it happened in the same way. We get to see Vivy slowly making progress in her life too, and I like the fact that we don't keep brushing over it, so we are slowly seeing her upgrade. She's now on the inside. She's actually inside this time. A larger audience is watching her. Her name is starting to also bounce about the place. A lot more people are seeing her because she's probably been doing this for about a decade now. Another constant in the anime, which is minor, but it's always there, is Navi. Navi is a little minor role that keeps popping up again and again. This familiarity, I really do like this. We are yet again 5 years into the future, and the virus cube is back in his spooky form. The cube was even more spooky than a teddy bear. I don't know why, even though the teddy bear, the red eyes, was quite terrifying. But we can see some progress is now being made on that radio tower. It's getting higher and higher. There's no sign of stopping it. And now Vivy, thankfully, seems a bit more determined to see this plan out. This is perhaps through the experiences she's had, the growing audience that she's got, meeting Estelle, the idea of doing something with your heart, putting your heart into it. This may be something that she eventually realises on this mission to protect people and stop the war from happening, even though it's starting to look like things are coming further and further forward. So I do wonder if this war is actually going to be happening a bit quicker than we think. But it's really, really nice because we also get some really nice angles. We get a mirror shot of her. The fact that her reflection is slightly out of centre may be a bit foreboding that perhaps she's not quite got a full view on what's going on, and we're also perhaps seeing her from a very different angle, but it's definitely a different angle because she willingly asks, where are we going, what are we doing? But I love the fact that we get a very cold open again, and it's just mission start. We're going into a mission, no information given, we don't know where we are, we don't know who's who. We just get to see this amazing action, futuristic car chase. Who else got Tron vibes? Because I really got some Tron vibes going this. But let's introduce our antagonist, a protagonist, I'm not sure what to call him yet. I'm suspicious of him. Dr. Tatsuya. So this is the guy we are protecting. He's been chased off the road by some assailants who end up being Toke again. This episode starting to bring a lot of repeating names, repeating themes, which I'm going to mention at the end. But Dr. Tatsuya is the one who ended up marrying the AI, the one we saw initially in the beginning. He has built a facility of robots. It's the island we initially saw where they married, but it looks completely different in this universe. It's an island which is completely industrialized. So that beautiful green island we saw initially was lush. It was green. We saw old buildings being reclaimed by nature, but now it's completely industrial. And it did give me, again, vibes from Mewtwo, the first movie, where he's got the island lair. I've got some of those vibes because it's completely mechanized as well. I'm just expecting Mewtwo to appear in his armor at some point. Best version of Mewtwo, that armor. Ironically, after we learn about the aftermath of the sunrise, we initially were introduced to this island whilst it was a bit before sunrise, it was dark. The sun starts to rise, literally. I love this. So Estelle ended up becoming a martyr amongst AI, almost a level, a pinnacle of what all these AI should be, which, as the Q puts it, is a bit ironic because she was heavily faulty. Estelle put everybody before herself and destroyed herself to protect everybody. The sun is now rising on our new chapter, but we are also told the important information that we started to see last episode, the idea things are speeding up, but this time it's a huge speed up. It's not just this is happening a day early. It's 20 years early. We're talking 2 decades early of a speed upping of event, which makes me think the war is gonna be happening early. I really think the war's still gonna happen. The mission this week is to shut down the island, and it does feel larger. It feels like this is a very bigger level of a task because this is an AI run island, so there's a lot more numbers on this island. There's a lot more involved in this island. The doctor ended up knowing that Diva or Vivy was involved on the sunrise. He was informed by Toke, so Doctor ends up having his little secret background. Vivy does announce her plan. She actually tells him everything that they're going to be doing, which I don't know if this is going to backfire because I feel like it might backfire, and I really can't trust Dr. Tatsuya. We get some beautiful light on the face as he faces us, the audience, and the sun glare bounces off and into the camera lens. Really like it. You could pretend that you're maybe looking at him from Vivy's point of view. Love it. Gold again being a theme of this episode. Toke was the one who apparently attacked the doctor. A high-speed road accident would probably end up in a fatality, so they definitely tried to kill this guy. Grace is the name of the AI that the doctor ended up marrying. But it is also interesting to note that the doctor is the first human aware of the plan that these guys are trying to do. He's aware of half the plan. He's aware that they're going to the island to shut it down. He knows what they're doing. Ironically as well, though, he does seem to have what we need. He has the MacGuffin, and it's just a little bit ironic. And the idea of coincidence keeps coming up and not coincidence. Personally, I don't believe in coincidences. I think things tend to happen for a reason, but we'll get to that bit a little bit later on. I actually love the shape. Quick moment to the virus. It looks like a proper virus. It's a prop that I probably will end up making in a spare time because, again, I am a cosplayer. I do make things, so I might make this because I really like it. Might put a little LED in it and have it glow as well. He tries to convince them to team up, but this gave me really bad vibes. It's like, if he goes, the Doctor is definitely gonna die. This is an ex-Toke member. How far can you really trust him? So he tells us that the Toke's extreme idea, that I think it's the scorched earth as he puts it, basically wiping it all out. They don't want any kind of form of AI. They are most likely probably trying to destroy the island, whilst the Doctor seems to be somewhere in the mid-ground. Can't fully trust the guy though, where he believes that we should just put the island to sleep until the humans are ready. However, the idea of putting them to sleep for at least 20 years, you're gonna get the idea of nature reclaiming the island once more. I adore this apartment, and I want to talk about it really briefly because it does remind me of the apartment Detroit Become Human. Can't remember the character's name straight off the bat, but he was a really good looking character. There you go. This view is absolutely gorgeous. I love the fact that we can see the island in the background as well. Gives you the vibe of the future. This looks like a futuristic house. It's simplistic interior. I love the world building in Vivy. I think they've really taken care and a lot of love to design the environments, design how things look. The island as well, when we get there, looks absolutely gorgeous. The Doctor this time is still married. So they did still marry in this universe. Perhaps it didn't quite happen in the island. In the original timeline, they ended up marrying inside the church on that island. But this time, this island is not green anymore. It is an industrial place. The lighting and the shadow on even just this vial, we can see the light coming through the tail, highlighting the liquid inside, the beautiful colour. Red as a colour too. It may be a colour of danger, but it's also passion. The Doctor does seem passionate about AI. He seems to really care for Grace. The futuristic gadget, which I really want to pinpoint, is the plant pots that walk. Really like this. It kind of saves the effort of moving and they come to you when they want watering. I like it. Kind of brings the idea of having a pet plant a bit further to the reality if it could start walking towards you. Where we start to get another odd, as Vivy wants to say it's a coincidence, the cube doesn't believe in coincidences. What do you know? Grace is a sister model to Vivy. But as he does put it, there are a lot of different models. So my phone is definitely related to another Samsung and a Samsung down the line. In that sense, it is probably just a coincidence that they're the same. But it doesn't feel like it. There's quite a few repeating things this episode. But again, we're going to get our obligatory eye shot because we have to. This boat is clearly a drone and it does give me a fun insight into perhaps the world of boats, perhaps having things automated might actually lead to opening up pathways later in the future. Perhaps it is a near future we can expect at some point. Perhaps it's not too distant from our own. We will eventually get automated boats. Talk about our first dark twist, of course. It seems that with the shutdown of the island which produces lots and lots of parts for AIs, Grace will also probably shut down. So this is our dark twist. We're probably gonna cry over him losing her. The preview at the end looks a bit suspicious, but it does mean that they shut this down. It will slow down the AI's building, the evolution of AIs as well. Bring it to your screens. Live footage from inside the future of Amazon. To be fair, Amazon warehouses do have drones inside them, so I can imagine they do look a little similar to this, and it's not too far-fetched to believe that this could be Amazon in the future. It's as a fully automated facility. Seeing that weird spider-like connection construct over the whole island is a little bit creepy, but the island feels alive as much as you can for programs and AI and robots. But it also made me question, what is the environmental implications? So is this island producing waste? Is it bad for the environment? Is it good for the environment? Little things that came to mind because this anime is making me think, and that is the point of an anime this in-depth, really making you think, because it does seem to be pumping out a lot of smog. But it's a thing of beauty, as I said before. This picture, you can see it. You can imagine this being a drawing, this being a concept. Make sure you guys too go and check out Wit Studio on Instagram. They are posting the before sketches, after sketches. They've got a few animated sketches so you can see how a picture or a scene is layered together. Everything at the moment is VV related on Wit Studio. Go and give them a little look. They definitely deserve it. You can imagine this being a drawing, becoming this gorgeous world, And it gives you the idea of a game. I want to explore this place. I want to go around, look at the levels, look at all the interconnecting parts. It definitely feels like it's something that is so connected and thought out that you can imagine walking around it and it doesn't feel cut off. It doesn't feel like, oh, we only thought about this section of the island. The whole island does really feel like it's a place and it works. Going on now to start pulling on my heartstrings, the kawaii robot who is making kawaii things really starts to make you wonder though, are these things really just programming? Is it just programming? How creative can an AI be with creating things if it's just following a program? Where is the end of creativity? I mean, there are a lot of art programs out there starting to be built. A lot of things like Art Breeder, where you start putting things in and it creates its own, the idea of blending art. But at the same time, it does feel like you're giving it the information and it's coming up with more information. But it does seem quite odd. What is going to trigger a war when this little guy here seems absolutely happy, following code, wanting to make humans happy, and everybody on this island is following code completely unwatched? There isn't a single human on the island watching, monitoring them, but they're all happily following their code still. They're still doing everything as planned. No one's striking out. Nobody seems to be rebelling or anything. Again, this robot making cute things with humans in mind. Those vibes, the idea that is Vivy's actions, are they going to stop the war or are they going to bring the war even closer to us? The future mission of our island is to ensure that they end up surviving for mankind's sake. That is their motto. That does seem to be what they're following. What is going to go wrong? Something really feels like it's going to have to have gone wrong for such a war to even break out. The cute robots end up welcoming Vivy and the cube. Although this is adorably cute, if you desaturate the image a little bit, make it a little bit darker, that signpost may as well be written in blood. It could be creepy if you just make a few little tweaks. But it's very sad because Vivy is going to have to shut all these guys down. Is it really just a program telling these guys surprise welcomes are the best kind of welcome? Because they've all still got to do it. So it kind of feels a little bit of a human mindset. I'm going to do a surprise welcome. It feels a little tad too spontaneous for just AI. But again, maybe I am underrating AI. I've never really had to think about AI. Never really had to think about the capabilities of what an AI can do. And that is the wonder of Vivy. Vivy is making me really think about some of these questions. When they started to sing the Vivy song, my heart really did feel like it was going to cry. I was actually really sad when she ended up shutting them down as well. Then it goes horrifically wrong. But it does seem to be too much for Vivy, who ends up walking out, where we keep hearing the word Mother Computer. I think Mother Computer is going to be making an entrance next week. I definitely think she's going to be part of next week's episode. Going to be interesting to see who Mother Computer is. What does it mean to put your heart into something? This question again being asked. Every time Vivy is trying to find an answer, find a solution, see what other people think. At first, the robot cannot answer. However, it does believe that it is the sense of satisfaction one gets from fulfilling a mission for serving a human. And that feels the same as Vivy. That really does feel exactly how she feels. So there is the idea of being satisfied just by doing something. Here comes Toke. Again, a familiar theme starting to appear. So Toke keep popping up. So is Toke involved in the war? Is it their actions that are going to bring about a war? It ends up speeding up the need to attack. So actually quite quickly we see us actually enacting the idea of shutting these guys down. But interesting to note, the AIs were initially instructed to evacuate. Do not fight. Do not engage. Just evacuate. So the original programming tells them not to interact, but what's about to happen is very, very interesting. Again, another beautiful shot of some eyes. It is beautiful. I love it to pieces. We get the flashes of the Doctor's love, the bond with him and Grace, as we actually activate the virus. Wasn't expecting it to be that quick, but nope, the virus is here. The island initially shuts down, and it seems like maybe the mission is half completed because we just got to deal with Toke. But the vision with M as he shuts down, seeing the young child calling him N, really made me feel feels, even though he is just an AI. It gave me a human response. Here comes yet another twist. The virus seems to have shut the AI down, but it also seems to be a proper virus where it's corrupted their initial code of not attacking. And suddenly we've got this attack going on. Suddenly all those beautiful, cute robots are attacking Toke and destroying them, causing things to explode. Like I said, if you had just dialed down that picture of the AIs welcoming them, it could have been written in blood. So one tiny little turn and everything turns very sadistic and very dark. But this is, of course, a very, very bad outcome. No doubt this is going to rattle the world. Death of humans by AIs, it's finally happening. Are we now on that slippery slope? Because this is a very bad thing. And my theory is that it's the doctor's fault and the virus as well. But maybe it's a virus and a double virus in a sense that it might have shut them down, but it seems to also have rewritten their coding. I do believe it is not a coincidence that Vivy is starting to see a lot of reoccurring themes. Our reoccurring themes include, we have the idea that there's a lot of models involved who are related to Vivy. They all seem to be related to the Vivy model. We have Toke. We have that guy. And we've got this ongoing theme of love, passion, and the heart. Estelle was singing for the love of service, the love of space. We had M's love for making cute things and making the kids smile. We have the doctor's love for Grace. I do have to say that the twist at the end of it being the same guy from Toke, it's not a coincidence, definitely not a coincidence. And it's interesting because this guy really seems to hate Vivy. And I do wonder what's going to happen next week because this is the second time Vivy has saved his life. So I can't imagine it's going to go down very well. But I also wasn't surprised to see it. I was actually expecting him to come along. He's again naturally 5 years older. And quick note to the slight change on the ED, where we see the domino effect in action. One tiny tap leads to the entire thing coming down. Very similar to the main theme, the idea of Vivy itself. Vivy's mission is to make a small change that will hopefully lead to a big change. Perhaps we're going to stop the war, but maybe we're also going to end up forcing it by our own actions. It is starting to feel like the war is coming regardless of what we do. It just seems to be that Vivy is bringing it even further forward. It's not going to be 100 years in the future. Maybe the war's going to happen in 50 years. Because everything she's doing seems to be having rippling effects. And I do also believe that if something is meant to happen, it will find a way of happening, no matter how it ends up going about. The footprint section, the footprints in the sand, the idea that they will be gone when the ocean comes in, I think it's regards to nature, the fact that nature is all powerful. Everybody also is there 1 minute, gone the next. Although AIs will be forever there because they are robots and they kind of don't die, but they might end up being retired to a museum like we see with Vivy. We also saw the reclaimed church at the beginning of the OP. Nature is reclaiming things. Perhaps the island at some point, now if it does end up being shut down, it will eventually be reclaimed by nature. It's a really nice piano rendition, absolutely gorgeous ED, love it. There's a lot of EDs that I really like this season, so when it comes to my video of just picking 3, difficult, but I've definitely got 2 which are solid up there. I think the EDs is going to be the easy one to write, whilst I've got to really think about the OPs because there's not too many jumping out. Going to be a fun one to write, guys. I can't wait. This has been another amazing episode. I really can't wait to see what happens next week. I definitely think that some of the things I've mentioned, like the ideas of things coming forward, things happening not as a coincidence, and the idea that events are starting to speed up, I think that's going to be a thing. I did predict last week that things are starting to speed up quicker. And I did predict as well that the way things plan out, this singularity point would be very different from what the Cube was expecting, as he does say. He isn't quite sure, on a few things, and the island is here quicker. So he was probably expecting to wake up in 20 years, but he's woken up again in 5. Can't wait, guys. Really love it. Vivy is an amazing anime. I am so happy it actually made it to top of the charts last week. It topped out at being of the popularity polls. I think Vivy really deserves that spot, so I hope that she continues to hold out because there's a lot of good stuff coming out this season, and it's definitely a hard season to pick a overall winner because there's so many great animes that hopefully if they maintain the good work and keep it up, that they're going to end up, being some of the best. This could be one of the best anime seasons. Yes, in hopefully 2 weeks' time, halfway through the anime season, I will tell you where I stand. I'll do a mini top anime, so we can compare how I felt halfway through the season and then at the end to see how things change. So I'll give you a midway ranking, so what the top 3 are, because at the moment, I don't think my top 3 are what some people would expect, especially if you're a member of the channel and you know how I kind of vote, or you've seen how I put my top threes together. I don't think it would be how you're expecting it, because I think there's a few unexpected ones which might sneak onto the list, and a few obvious ones which you might think I would pick won't make the list. So continue to support me, guys. Thank you so much. I can't wait for next week. I love Vivy. Fantastic. So happy that we get the weekly Wit Studio proving it can draw, because it can. Have a good day, guys. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye.